Good morning, everyone. I'm Bruce Berdanier. I'm the Dean of the Jerome J. Lower College of Engineering, and I just want to welcome you to South Dakota State University's Investiture ceremony for the Duane Sander Endowed Professorship of Engineering, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship. This endowed professorship is, of course, very important to the Jerome J. Lower College of Engineering. It's part of our land-grant mission for outreach and economic development. All investitures are unique and extremely valuable, and this Sander Endowed Professor is especially unique from the vision of the founding members, as well as the sheer number of donors in the community and in industry who financially supported the concept of this endowment. 54 total donors. This endowment honors Duane Sander for his impact on an entire industry and a generation, as well as his continuing impact at South Dakota State University, while serving as a model for other endowed professorships that we are developing for the college. Duane was a visionary entrepreneur, an innovator who helped spawn an entire industry while remaining at the university and developing the graduates who would fuel the growth and success of that industry. I would like to recognize a few important people who are present for today's ceremony. So South Dakota State University's president, Barry Dunn, is here. South Dakota State University's provost, Dennis Hedge, in the back row. Duane Sander, who is our Dean Emeritus of the Lower College of Engineering and co-founder of Daktronics and the namesake for this endowment. Al Kurtenbach. Did Al come in? Okay, so Al's not here yet, but we hope he shows up in a few minutes. He's our retired president and CEO and co-founder of Daktronics, one of the founding members of this endowment also. Jim Morgan, who's retired president and CEO of Daktronics, and past Board of Regents member also, and one of the founding members for the endowment. And Reese Kurtenbach, who is president and CEO of Daktronics and also one of the founding members of the endowment. And then today's Sander recipient is Dr. Yu-Chang Liu, and his wife Yili Gu are here today too with us. So now I want to invite President Dunn to the podium to discuss the importance of endowed professorships.
Well, good morning, everyone. And on behalf of the students, faculty, and staff, I too want to welcome you to our beautiful campus this morning for this really special investiture. And there'll be lots of pictures and it's really a great day to celebrate a great man and also celebrate Dr. Liu. So in our strategic plan, Imagine 2023, it provides a clear pathway to our vision to be a premier land-grant university. And one of the best ways for a university to be premier and to be measured as premier is to have endowed positions throughout our academic programs. I know firsthand how the status and the resources behind an endowed position can affect the decision to accept a position or stay at a university. I was first recruited to Texas A&M Kingsville and then recruited back to South Dakota State University, both of those as a result of endowed positions. Those endowments provided me credibility within my national peers, within the university, and provided me the resources to make a very positive difference on the programs that I directed. Endowed positions offer a multitude of benefits to South Dakota State. They are essential for recruiting and retaining the highest quality faculty in the United States and in the world. To be a premier university, we need to have the best minds, the most creative researchers, and the most engaged teachers. When we have talented faculty, we will attract and retain the brightest students. For our students, endowed faculty and chairs allow them to be involved with talented scholars. For example, when I was at Texas A&M Kingsville, the prestige associated with working with an endowed professor helped me attract top-notch students from around the United States. It provided them high-level experiences impacting their future careers through research and scholarly activity. Because of the resources that were provided to me, I could enhance their opportunities. At the time of my investiture as the South Dakota Corn Endowed Dean for the College of Agriculture, Biological Sciences in 2009, there were commitments for only 5 other endowed positions at SDSU. We currently have commitments in place for 36. SDSU has the bold ambition to attain 50 endowed positions. I need to give a big shout out to Provost Hedge and the foundation for owning this goal and making it a reality. Thank you, Dennis, and thank you, Steve, for your hard work. The Jerome J. Lohr College of Engineering has commitments in place for 8 of these positions. Great job, Bruce. The Duane Sander Endowed Professorship in Engineering Entrepreneurship and the Lohr College of Engineering assures the work in innovation and economic development in engineering will continue long into the future. It is one of the highest academic awards we can bestow on a faculty member. Therefore, it is both an honor to the named holder, and it serves as a long-lasting tribute to the donor. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Liu and Duane Sanders on this prestigious honor today. And I'll turn it back to Bruce.
Yeah, I guess just to follow up real briefly on what the president said, that yesterday Jerry announced that he was going to be endowing the dean of the Lohr College of Engineering, so we're really taking some great strides forward. So at this time, I'd like to ask Dr. Liu to come up, and I would like Duane Sander and now Kurtenbach to come up also. Somehow you guys are going to put the medallion over his head.
We don't want to hit him with it. You were saved.
So just before, we're going to have Dr. Liu talk, but I'd like to present, we have a duplicate medallion made to commemorate today, and we're giving this to Duane Sander as the namesake and one of the co-founders of the so this is for you, Duane, to have.
Thank you.
Office. All right, so now we're going to ask Dr. Liu to speak a little bit about his thoughts about the endowment.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dean Badania, for your kind introduction of myself. And thank you, Mr. Tom Baker and Alison Dow for putting together this program. Thank you all for attending this investiture. It is my great honor to become the first holder of the Duane Sander Professor. And I'm deeply grateful to Dr. Duane Sander, Dr. L. Kurtenbach, President Jim Morgan, President Reese Kurtenbach, and all other donors for establishing this professorship. Innovation and entrepreneurship are 2 drivers in today's engineering world. To address global challenges in climate change, healthcare, and sustainable energy, innovative products, service, and technologies need to be developed, and they can only be developed by engineers with the innovative and entrepreneurial mindset. It is our responsibility to educate, prepare, and train next-generation innovators and entrepreneurs. When I was at Mississippi State University, I held the Jack Hatcher Chair in Engineering Entrepreneurship. In that position, I worked with the University Entrepreneurship Center and the College of Business to organize the Engineering Entrepreneurship Program. By 2020, that program led to the creation of 24 self-sustaining startups funded by MSU students. I will bring that experience to my new role to closely collaborate with the faculty at the Ness School of Management and Economics and other colleagues in the research park and on campus, to implement novel educational programs, to grow innovation-driven business accelerators, to expand maker spaces, and to develop new initiatives to recruit, mentor, and inspire our future innovators. We produce competitive job candidates. We will also produce job creators. On the other side, I look forward to working with the faculty driven by innovation and startups, to bridge their research results to products. Marketable academic research can generate revenue, can raise a college's profile, and will help us to attract top-notch faculty and students. Technology innovation, innovation-driven business creation, and technology licensing will lead to successful faculty and student recruitment, as well as accelerated research. I'm very optimistic about the future of our entrepreneurship program, and I believe with hard work, determination, and perseverance, we will establish an entrepreneurial ecosystem on campus to bring people, organizations, and resources together. More successful companies like Daktronics will be established in South Dakota State to retain and attract top talent to the state. Once again, thank our generous donors for this professorship and for their long-term support for our program and students. Last but not least, I would like to thank my family, my wife, for her unending love, care, and support. Thank you very much.
Okay, at this time I would like to ask Duane Sander to come back up and then give us his thoughts about the importance of the endowment.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for supporting this professorship. I'm certainly honored to be named in the professorship, and I know that all of you who have provided support to this professorship really are looking at the idea of promoting and encouraging engineering, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And the purpose of the fellowship is exactly that, to develop and encourage innovation and entrepreneurship in the J. Lohr College of Engineering. Presently, there are entities both within the university and outside the university that can provide encouragement and help to entrepreneurship faculty and students. Within the university, we have technical expertise throughout the university that can help develop an idea and finally develop plans to actually commercialize the idea. Also, as Dr. Liu mentioned, the Ness School of Management and Economics has a BA and a minor degree in entrepreneurship, so that certainly is going to be important. Outside the university, we have the one entity, the Enterprise Institute, and within the Institute, they help people with ideas develop good business plans, and then also have developed a network of angel funds, 13 and I believe now 14 angel funds throughout the state that have an amount of money that has been developed through those angel funds is in the order of 16 million plus. And they are certainly looking to help these new entrepreneurs. Outside the university, we have the research park and a number of opportunities there, not only for developing an idea, but also providing space for startup operations. Both the Brookings Chamber and the Brookings Economic Development Corporation are really ready and willing to help in a number of different ways also from outside the university. So having Dr. Liu come to South Dakota State University with his background in developing entrepreneurship is really going to be interesting and exciting to see how he pulls all of these things together and makes ideas and people with ideas really come true. So we appreciate that, and we're excited to see what you do now. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Duane, for those comments. So at this time, we'd like to ask Al Kurtenbach to come up, please, and share some remarks with us.
Well, I think the reason I got invited to speak is because I had to twist Duane's arm a little bit to make sure he would allow the professorship to carry his name, and then I helped a bit with the fundraising to accomplish that. I do want to make a few comments. Sorry I'm late, first of all. So what we have here today is the investiture, that's a big word for me, of Dr. Liu as the first Duane Sander Professor of Engineering, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship at SDSU. Now that's a mouthful. I should have come up with a shorter name than that, I think. But that's what we're doing, and I think Duane is very deserving of this. I thank you, Duane, for your leadership both as an educator and as an entrepreneur. No one is really more deserving or more suited for this name than you are. I also commend Duane for his 50-plus years of persevering effort in improving the environment for entrepreneurship in South Dakota. Duane's contributions at SDSU, at Daktronics, at the South Dakota Enterprise Institute, which was his idea, and actually the founding of Vision Brookings, which was his idea. Duane had a persuasive way of recruiting me to help him with things, and that's been kind of fun over the years to do that. But that leadership has been outstanding. I mean, you really can't create entrepreneurs, but you can create an environment where they can prosper, and you can help them and counsel them, and in that way make good things happen. So that's the what and the who and the when, and now we have to talk a little bit about the why and the how. And why is important. Why is entrepreneurship important? And especially, why is it important today in South Dakota? And especially in the engineering college. You know, when I tell people what engineers do, I try to simplify it a little bit. I say, well, engineers engage in applying science to society. That's really what we do in engineering. It's natural that engineers start and develop enterprises, and that these enterprises provide useful services, develop products, and operate businesses. The enterprises, these enterprises that we create here, employ South Dakota people and import cash. When people ask me what business Daktronics was in, I always told them our business is to import cash into South Dakota. by doing things here, building things, and then serving the rest of, at that time, usually the country, but now actually the world. And these enterprises that we create here in South Dakota, they comprise really a connecting point between SDSU and the communities of South Dakota. It's a true hard connecting point. You know, in South Dakota, production agriculture has been our primary generator of cash for the state, primary, and for employing people. But in my 60 years, which is really now 70 years since I actually was a farmer, and that's what I did my first year out of high school, production agriculture has changed dramatically in this period of time. And I'm fortunate to have seen it, and also I'm fortunate to still remember it. So that is really important. But with what contributions engineers have made, along with many others, to improving production agriculture, we now employ many fewer people in production agriculture than we did 70 years ago. Certainly many fewer than we did 100 years ago, when it was, the days were long, and the work was hard, and the perspiration was plentiful, especially in the summertime. So things have changed. Now the guy that works the little land I have down south of town, he says, my air-conditioned cab on my tractor is pretty comfortable. You know, that's one measure of how things have changed. And so we need to continue with that, and we are doing that here on campus with our new, I say digital ag building, but we have a precision ag building. I did my PhD work in demonstrating how the digital world was more precise than the analog world, so I kind of sometimes mix that word in. But also, we need other enterprises. We need to diversify South Dakota's economy. So we need other enterprises to accomplish that. And I maintain that the engineering college is the engine for doing that. And I maintain, too, when I talk to legislators, that South Dakota is very fortunate to have its two engineering colleges, one on each end of the state, where if you look at the stack of states from North Dakota down to Oklahoma, we're the only state that has that. And again, in my opinion, we haven't capitalized on that like I would have hoped that the state would capitalize on that. But we're starting to do better. And we're also starting to have more cooperation between the engineering schools. And that's another powerful. But we need to develop other business clusters in the state that will grow the state. Not that I want a lot of competitors in the display world, but we'll probably, over time, spin one or two out. The second reason why it's very important to really focus on entrepreneurship in the engineering college is that we need to have additional financial support for education. The taxpayers, I would say, throughout the United States are growing weary of paying for higher education. And so we really need to do something about that. And entrepreneurship, I think, is, in my opinion, the best way. It's well documented by university foundations that if you want to raise money for a university foundation, you want to find the successful entrepreneurs and speak with them and work with them. That's been well documented. It's been known for 25 years that that's the most fruitful area to raise money to help support the universities in this environment. So there's a reason. I think that's why it's so important to the state. It's our way of, thanking the taxpayers of the past for helping us get started, and now then to start carrying the ball a little bit more. Now, so what we do, we want more of our graduates to join what I call the fraternity of South Dakota taxpayers. And, they should be more disposed to wanting to be inventive, to lean toward entrepreneurship, and to be willing to, invest some of their time in this world of entrepreneurship. Not all young people are willing to do that. You want to get that high-paying job and that new car, and it's one thing to say, oh, why don't you hold off? You take 3 or 4 years and start a company here. But we actually have examples within our alumni group. And one of the first, and our family benefited from this, as 2 of our children were Briggs scholars. And Stephen Briggs and Charlie Coughlin, they were engineers, mechanical engineering graduates of SDSU, and while I'm told, I wasn't here, but I'm told that they actually did a lot of their preliminary work on their 2-cycle gasoline engine in the laboratories here at SDSU when they were undergraduates. And look how they gave back. Stephen Briggs, gave back in the form of scholarships. Charlie Coughlin liked to build buildings, and so we have, what some people call the singing silo out here. And as well as we had the Coughlin Memorial Stadium for quite a few decades. So they were some of the first. And another gentleman that helped me a lot, it was Cal Vaudry. He was a faculty member in civil engineering. He actually mentored, I think he provided a little mentorship for you, Jerry, and certainly for Duane and I when we were starting. And he ran a very successful consulting business throughout the state, but also with offices in adjoining states. And then there's Jerry Lohr. We honor you, Jerry, and appreciate it, but you've been a tremendous example on, what an entrepreneur can do and how an entrepreneur gives back to their university. And Duane and I helped with that a little bit, and hopefully the Kurtenbach family will continue with that. Jim Morgan was a great contributor too through that business, and the Bender family has been great here in Brookings to create business, and continue it through now in the 3rd generation. And another local family that has contributed a lot was the Mills family. They're now in the 3rd generation of really helping to grow Brookings. And so engaging engineering faculty members is really important. Cal Vaudry is on the faculty. Duane and I were both on the faculty. And to be able to look past just being on the faculty and asking the questions, how is this going to, propagate and grow the state? It's very important. One person, I'd like to just comment on that. He's not from SDSU, but he, Dr. Bowes, he was important in my life because I taught out of his books, and he was great in the area of communication theory, information theory, coding theory, but he also had an interesting hobby. He liked to listen to good music, and he liked it to be high fidelity. And so he was not pleased with what was available in the marketplace, and so started by developing the back box for speakers. And that's not high tech, you'd say, but he pulled out the old Fourier transform equations and worked it out. And from there, then it went to amplifiers and microphones. And since I'm kind of interested in football, I always look when I'm watching on TV if the coach, and they always give close-ups of the coach, if he's got that Bose microphone, you know, right up there getting a little publicity, and it's almost always there. And he passed away a couple years ago, and he never left the faculty. He always stayed on the faculty, but he got interest in these enterprises that he helped develop. And his write-up in The Economist magazine was that he was his estate was the greatest contribution ever to the MIT Foundation. And he was a faculty member all of his life, but he did other things too. And so that's, you know, what can be. Now then the question is how? And there are really two ways that an engineering college can really enhance this environment for entrepreneurship. One way is through the research that they're engaged in, that they can find some nuggets in that research that can be commercialized. And then now, with what Duane mentioned, we have a lot more support here in our community to help entrepreneurs. And that's taken effort and taken leadership, and Duane was one of the leaders there. The other way that that engineering can help, you know, this idea of successful entrepreneurship and successful company building is this idea of applying science to society by being alert as they go through their life, like Dr. Bowes was when he decided that we deserved to have a better audio quality when we were relaxing and enjoying the evening or something, and then develop that. I call that I call those engineered products, where you find a need that's not being satisfied and say, hey, with today's technology, we can do better. And that's how Daktronics got into the scoreboard world, how we ended up with displays like that. One of the other faculty members, who was also the wrestling coach, came to us and said, you know, I just got back from the national tournament, and those scoreboards that they put at the national tournament just are inappropriate. They don't show the right information, they block the view of the fans, they're just not appropriate. Is that something you guys could do? And I thought about that about 5 minutes and said, you know, I think we could assign that to our senior students, and they could help us come up with solutions. And so I said, yeah, we can do that. And Jim Morgan was a graduate student at that point, just finishing his master's degree, and he designed and managed the production of our first 17, I think it was, wrestling scoreboards. And so we have that talent here. It's renewable. Every year we have a couple thousand kids come to campus, and they hang around for a while. We'd like them to hang around longer. We work on retention a lot. We'd like them to hang around longer, but they hang around, and they're interested and they're eager, and every year there's a new crop. I mean, it happens. You can count on it. And so we just need to capitalize on that fact more, have more self-confidence in what we can do in training them and getting them excited about what they can do in business with their technical skills. And one thing, engineers tend to have better training in mathematics than the average student on campus, and that's very helpful when you get into the nitty-gritties of making a business go. And so we can work more on that. That's my challenge. So I thank you all very much. I thank all the contributors. I see a lot of nice, bright faces here. This is great. And so thank you all very much. And thank you, Dr. Lee.
I was thinking, as I listened to Al and Duane and Yu Cheng talk, there's a lot of high aspirations and a lot of moving parts, right? Some of you might be thinking, I wonder if they can pull this off. And I thought about last night when we were at dinner. We were sitting with a young man who's a senior in our mechanical engineering program, and my wife said to him, like a question that we ask students a lot, like, well, what are you going to do, Ben, when you graduate? And he said, I want to found or go to work for a startup company to do outer space mining robotics. And we thought, it is starting to happen. I mean, all the things we're doing with the research park, with all the student competition teams, with the business plan competition, the students are getting engaged, and they're organically becoming more innovative and more entrepreneurial. So it is working, and we're really excited to see this just keep going. So, just a few closing comments. I met Yu Cheng Lu last year through the interview process to select our new department head in mechanical engineering. He's been a consistent participant in the creation of new knowledge as well as entrepreneurial opportunities for faculty and students at Mississippi State University. As he said in his talk, he was the Jack Hatcher Chair in Entrepreneurial Engineering there, and he was looking for a new challenge in leadership and in entrepreneurship at a university where he felt there was potential for success and growth. The Sander Endowed Professorship made that opportunity for both Dr. Lu and for the Lower College of Engineering a reality. I think Dr. Lu's work will be needed so much by our society, especially in this region, as we transition over the coming decades from manual, user-directed machines to a new paradigm of autonomy and sustainability through such developments as artificial intelligence for all types of vehicles, precision agriculture, assistive robotics that we're working on right now, biomedical devices, and new materials that we haven't yet discovered. Our land-grant mission at South Dakota State University drives us to be inclusive, regionally relevant, and empathetic educators of the future workforce who recognize the impact of our work on society. And an endowment like the Sander Professorship recognizes and elevates our status in all of these aspects. So, like Al said, being part of this ceremony, investing the Sander Endowed Professorship in Yu Cheng Lu makes me both happy and hopeful about the quality and the size of SDSU's impact on the future of entrepreneurship in this region. So I just want to thank all of you for joining me here today and celebrating Dr. Lu today, and I know I'm not alone when I say I look forward to witnessing all that you're going to accomplish, Yu Cheng, in the years to come at South Dakota State University. Thank you very much, everyone.